All right, Saturday, Jan 19th, and we're just coming up to 10:30. As you can see, it's a little chilly out this morning, minus 14 Celsius. Actually getting colder. I think it's calling for a low of minus 26 overnight.
Today, Celsius and Fahrenheit, we will agree here for the first time on minus 40.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a high of like minus 19 tomorrow, so it'll probably be pretty chilly out in the garage. Had the heater running all night, so it's about 11 degrees Celsius, so just above 50, so it's comfortable enough out here to work. So anyway, we're back working on the fitment of the Hardtop, or the roof panel for the Surrey top. Sorry, we've been accused of getting all the terminology wrong for the Surrey top.
Okay, what's
so Surrey top,
okay,
Backlight, Hardtop.
Okay, that's how I know them.
Okay, so we're going to get the Hardtop to fit properly to the Backlight, because if you recall, we don't have proper fasteners for this location for the Hardtop. So we've gone out and we've got some hardware that we're going to play around with, and we've decided that we're going to riv nut the inside. This is sort of a recap. On the inside of this panel, we've got these little steel areas here which we need to relocate. You can see we've actually drilled a new hole here. We're going to drill a larger hole and put a riv nut in there in order to try to get this to fasten a little bit better and pull down a little snugger on the driver's side. So that's what we're up to today, and I'm not sure how well it's going to go, but we'll do our best. That's all we can do, right?
We'll do the best.
Okay. See you in a bit. Okay, I don't think I told you what we're in the process of doing. So we've put the hardtop section back on, and we've relocated or located where the actual studs need to go through. They come through this area here on the backlight. So this is an M6 riv nut that we're going to use. We've got an M6 bolt here on this end. We're going to cut the head off, and we're going to thread this end for a wing nut on the other side eventually. So we're in the process. We've got our pilot drilled, which is here. I don't know if you can see that or not. The original hole is just down below, so it's just moved it up basically about a ½ inch or so. So we're just about to drill this out so we can get the riv nut in there. We're utilizing a bunch of nuts on the drill bit to use as a depth gauge, so we don't drill through the actual top of the top. So that's what we're in the process of doing. So we thought I'd take you a quick video just before we drill through the top of the top. All right, we'll be back. Here's our depth guide. And we've got the depth of the drill bit versus the depth of the riv nut with a couple of spacers on there.
Versus the thickness of the...
Versus, yeah, the thickness of the top. It's very scientific. So hopefully that prevents us from going through the top. It's no big deal if we go through the top. I can always refiberglass it anyway, but I'd prefer not to if possible. Yep. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to turn the camera off so you can't see us go through the top. Be back in a bit.
I'm going to be extra safe
okay,
here.
Okay, so the problem we're having is with the depth of the actual riv nut. We tried to space it out, but where the riv nut pulls is at the top here, and that doesn't really help us using spacers. That's a problem. So then we attempted to actually grind the riv nut down to fit it within the depth of the hole, but then we're actually running out of threads. We've only got like basically 2 threads left, which is not good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually we figure that part of the problem is the point of the drill bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to after we drill the other hole, because I've only got 1 drill bit, we're going to flatten this off so we can get a little bit more depth in the hole without going through the top. So we were discussing that I guess if we really had to put the riv nut in here, and if these options don't work, we could actually drill through the top and just refiberglass the top. That's our last option that we want to do, but you never know. We've been talking about it, and we might have to resort to doing that. This top needs body work anyway because it's fairly wavy, as I showed you in a previous video. Actually, I can feel it pretty wavy right here. But so it actually will need some body work anyway. But anyway, we'll try a couple different options. We're going to try flattening the drill bit first. We've also talked about the possibility of actually just welding a nut here on the top. So we've got a couple options to explore before we decide to drill through the top and before you start yelling at us. All right, okay, we've foregone the riv nut, and we've actually just got a nut here that we've ground off the edges of, so we can fit in the hole that we drilled. So now we're just going to carefully tack this around the outside, hopefully without melting anything as far as the top is concerned. So anyway, we'll give that a shot and see how we do. Okay, so the hard part is done. We've done the welded nut on the top with a minimal amount of scorching. So what we've done now, we've created a little bolt here. This is the 6mm bolt that goes into the bottom of the hardtop section, and we just welded a washer on as a stop for depth on the top. So now we're just about to cut the other end of the head off the bolt, and we're going to thread this on this end for a 1/4 inch wing nut. So anyway, that's it for now.
Right, the moment of truth. We'll see if that's gonna pull down. So now we're waiting for the crack. Yay, it's going down nicely.
Like that.
Perfect. You can see it.
You want me to keep going?
Well, no. You know what? Let's do the other one too, and then we're gonna make them
Oh, yeah,
even.
that's pretty darn good.
That's perfect now.
Okay, let's try the other side.
Yay. No cracks?
Nope. No holes in the top so far.
So far,
So
so
that's
good.
actually not too bad. It's not very tight. So I mean, I can still go more turns if I wanted to. So yeah, we don't want to over stress it. So yeah, that's pretty good so far.
So we deserve this.
All four.
Yeah, Dave is drinking too much beer. Look,
Yeah.
the whole entire garage is full of beer cans all over the place.
A recycling run at some point. See what happens when you drink beer?
Yeah.
See, you get smarter. So instead of welding a washer on, we've just put a riv nut on the bottom as our spacer, or our stop basically. And we've now tapped that for a 1/4 inch thread on the other end, and we've got our wing nut on here. So we're just about to fit this up to this side and see if that helps it on this side. It actually is sitting pretty well anyway. We really had most of the issue on the driver's side. It was sitting pretty good on this side, so we'll just snug it up and see what this side looks like. Okay, I would definitely call that a success. So it's bolted up in both rear locations. Again, not overly tight. We're not stressing it out too much. We've got the so the wing nut secured on the front at the windscreen now. Those fancy brass ones. And then we've got them attached here, and we've got the other pickups here just latched up. So that's looking pretty good inside. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I probably could have done a better washer arrangement over there. It just seems to be sitting up out of the pocket a little bit. But yeah, I think that looks good. So we're happy.
Yeah.
Hey,
Perfect.
another job done.
Cheers.
All right, just coming up to 6:20, and Lynn and Nick are long gone. They left just after lunch, so I've been working on doing a few projects in the house, and just come back out to the garage to give it a little bit of a clean out here and to have a look at the top. And I'm extremely happy with the way that's fitting now. So I'm stoked. Anyway, I'm going to clean the garage while I'm out here, and then maybe we'll start another little project for tonight. I think what I really want to do now is probably take the red fenders off. I don't want anything to do anything too hard and heavy, so I was thinking about taking the red fenders off and stripping that undercoating off the inside of them. So let me get the garage cleaned up first, and then I'll maybe take these fenders off. I remember now that I still have to do a repair here on this inner flange, so we'll get to that eventually too. So the fender's got to come off. Again, I'm looking for a simple project tonight where I can just sort of mellow out in the garage and maybe listen to some tunes, maybe put the hockey game on, and just stay out here while it's warm. All right, guys, garage is cleaner, so we're gonna go move on with our evening project, and that's gonna be stripping the undercoating from this fender. But as you can see, it's actually pretty good. This is probably the nicest stock fender I've ever seen for being an original fender. So very little undercoating, a little tiny little bit of real surface rust. I can wipe it off with my hand. And we got a little bit of heavier undercoating here at the front, but we'll make quick work of that. So we'll break out the heat gun. We've got the scraper, the flexible scraper. So we'll go to town on this. I'll bring you back once we get this driver's side cleaned up. All right, guys, there's the debris field after the first go around with the heat gun. We're just about to hit it with a wire brush, brass wire brush, to get a little bit more of the flaky stuff off. but it's looking pretty good. So the last step will be to hit it with some cleaner. We'll probably use brake cleaner on it. That's my preferred method. But you can use whatever you want, but brake cleaner works for me to get up the residue of the undercoating. So anyway, I'm going to put my mask on and we'll hit it with the wire brush. We'll come back after that. Alright guys, there's where we're at with a little light wire brushing. And it looks pretty good. So we'll break out a little bit of solvent just to get the rest of that undercoating off. And we'll come back with one last shot for the night. Alright guys, here's the end result, and I think it's looking pretty good. Just a little bit more sanding. We'll prep this for paint by doing a bit more sanding with the DA before we primer it, epoxy primer it, and then go over top of it. But looking pretty good, pretty darn clean. Like I said, it's the nicest fender, original fender that I've seen. It does have one little small crease in it. You can see the sort of the high spot here where I was just wire brushing it. There's a little tiny crease here, but no big deal that I can sort of hammer and dolly out. But it looks really good. So yeah, so I guess what we'll do tomorrow is we'll get onto the passenger side rear fender and do the same thing. So one step closer, and we'll call it for tonight, and we'll get back out here tomorrow. Thanks guys.